Lumos Maxima. Lumos Maxima.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today our movie in the middle is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Fantastic Beasts and... Hold on one second. Pick it. We've talked about this. Come on. Come on. You gotta go. You gotta go back to your spot. This is why they accuse me of favoritism. It's okay. You're good right there. Oh, truckles, am I right? Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is the beginning of the prequel series to Harry Potter, in which Magizoologist Newt Scamander has to find all his magical creatures after they get loose in New York City. It stars Eddie Redmayne, Catherine Waterston, Dan Fogler, Alison Sudol, and Colin Farrell. When they first talked about this coming out, I was a little hesitant because, as we all know, at the end of Harry Potter in 2011, J.K. Rowling herself said, you know, all good things must come to an end. But being as big as Harry Potter is, of course, that couldn't be the case. Not only just because it spanned into other things like the Wizarding World and Universal Studios and the Cursed Child and all these other things, there was just so much in this world to talk about and explore, especially in movies. And let's be honest, studios just want money. But I was a little nervous just because, you know, all good things must come to an end, which sucks. But if you just continue to milk them, then does it ruin the original series? I don't think so. But I was worried that it wouldn't be as good, and then, you know, Harry Potter wouldn't be taken as seriously and all this other stuff. But, you know, I was a little worried, but then I heard this. And then I just lost my fucking mind, so it didn't matter. I must have watched this trailer like 50 times. I'm not kidding. I was sitting out in the hallway in my dorm, like random people would come out and I'd be like, look at this! And they'd be like, who are you? So of course I'm going to be doing the Fantastic Beasts Where to Find Them and Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald review before the new one comes out, Fantastic Beasts The Secrets of Dumbledore. So I after I did those Harry Potter reviews, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was super excited. I really wanted to do these, but I was going to wait until the next one came out. And of course we had COVID and then they kept postponing it, but now it's finally coming out. I'm not going to do them exactly as I did the Harry Potter reviews, you know, in terms of scoring being like tone and cinematic quality and book accuracy, because there's, well, I mean, there is a book, but it's just a guide. So it's not like a movie. I do have the book somewhere. I don't know where I put it. So I'm just going to do them like I do my regular reviews. Let's get into the highs. The technical stuff is always on point. David Yates, I think I've said this before in my Harry Potter and Order of Phoenix review, he just makes directing and filmmaking look so easy. Every single shot, the way that they move, everything just looks so smooth and easy, and it bothers me because I just want to be that good. I will say, after the last 4 Harry Potters and then this one, and I'll talk about this more in the Crimes of Grindelwald review, it feels, I think, to a lot of people, and even to me, that his style's getting a little stale. Not that it's bad, it's just we want something fresh, you know? And I do think his style works with Fantastic Beasts because it is supposed to be fun and light and colorful and everything, but I think we just want something different now because we've had him for a couple, and so, you know, it'd be cool if we could get somebody else. I think he's going to do all 5, but at least it'll be consistent. And then the score is done by James Newton Howard, who I love. He also did all the scores for the Hunger Games. Specifically, I really love the Hanging Tree song. He did all of those, and I think the Hunger Games score is really underrated. It's not talked about as much, but I think it's really good. And so he did this as well, and I think that it was marvelous. The score was very Harry Potter, but it was different. It was something of its own for a lot of this. And I honestly think that's a really big high for this movie overall, is they were able to make it feel like Harry Potter, like you're, in the Harry Potter world, but it is a different time. It is a different series. It is a different part of the franchise. It's not Harry Potter. It is a little bit lighter. It has different stakes. It has different characters and creatures and everything, which I'll get to in a second. But it does feel like you're still in this wizarding world. It's just in a different time period and a different part of the world. It's in America, not in London this time. So like I said, the one obviously big difference is we have different characters. The first one being Newt Scamander, who, he has a really cool name. I mean, that definitely sounds like a name of a magizoologist. It just sounds like Newton Salamander. Here's the thing is, I love Newt. So much so that I actually dressed up as Newt Scamander for Halloween a couple years ago. And you can take a look at that. Fun little image. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud of it. But the thing is, while a lot of people think that Newt's really boring, and I can see that, I love him. I think he's pretty badass, to be honest. And the thing is that only comes out in certain times. The thing I love about Newt is, well, everything, but mainly the fact that he's just a really good guy. I know that may not make for a very interesting character, but he's just such a good person. And I do think that he's interesting because while he is a very good person, he's super nice to everybody. He's very calm with people. When he needs to, he pulls out punches. Like when he was about to get killed in the middle of this movie, he did not hesitate. He stunned everybody that was in the room and then saved Tina. And at the end, the same thing. He fights Graves / Grindelwald, and he is badass. It's just only when he needs to be. And that's one thing I really like about his character. And I found that I like in characters overall recently is I like characters who are not supposed to be in a particular situation. They kind of fall into that situation, but they go for it anyway. If something is wrong or they need to help somebody, they're like, all right, well, I'm here now. Let me go do this. And like Newt at the end of this movie, Credence is in trouble and Tina's like, you got to go help him because you're the only one who knows how to really, I guess, manage an Obscurus. And so he's like, okay, and he goes. Like, I love that so much. And the other thing I really like about him, besides his badassness, is the fact that he is like a really good portrayal of masculinity. And the reason I say that is actually because I found this video that specifically talks about that. You can check it out here. That talks about the great masculinity of Newt Scamander and him being, a male character who isn't particularly gruff or anything like that, but he's a good portrayal of it. I don't know how else to say it. Like, you can watch the video. It explains it way better than I ever can. But I just like, specifically at the end, when he approaches Credence, I love the way he does that. He doesn't go up to him and he's like, I need you to come with me. He like asks him, can I come over? Like little things like that I love about Newt. And of course, he takes care of his magical creatures, which is a gigantic amount of characters in this movie. I love that we get to see all these new creatures, their designs, what they do. We get to see ones obviously like the Niffler and the Bowtruckle and the Occamy and Demiguise, which I don't have, but I think he's just invisible, to be honest with you. But the coolest part, I think, is actually getting to see inside the case and all these different creatures, because we don't even really get all of what they actually are, but we just get, what they look like and what powers they have and what they do. And it's so cool, especially the way that the case is set up with the different like locations and biomes for all the other creatures to be and whatever they need. And they almost kind of look like movie sets, They're only separated by like curtains or like a weird floorboard or steps or whatever. And it was super cool. That was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. It goes on for a long time, but I think it's worth it because it's just all about exploring this new thing. In terms of other characters, we have Tina and Queenie Goldstein, who I think were really great polar opposites because Tina is very shy and Queenie is not. Tina is funny because, she starts out as like kind of like a Makusa, the Ministry of Magic for America. Makusa's like little puppet. And then she not only rebels a little bit later, but she's adorable, honestly. Like, she tries to be the best version of her that she can be, but she also obviously falls in love with Newt Scamander, and their chemistry is just so awkward, and I love it. It's a really nice change of pace, I think, for a romantic couple in a movie. And besides that, she is pretty awesome. Just in terms of wand magic, in terms of what she's willing to do. She got fired because she was trying to help somebody and she exposed magic in front of muggles or no mages. Her initiative, I think, is the best part about her. And then Queenie, on the other hand, Alison Sudol said that she really likes Queenie because she can show that you can have a feminine character who is very feminine, but also a badass. You know, yeah, you don't have to have, like, Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road in terms of, like, a female character who is very female, but also badass, but, you know, looks really gruff. You can have somebody who is very feminine, but also can do what she needs to do when the time comes. And then, of course, you have Jacob, who is the no-mage.
Sorry, we call them muggles.
And he is absolutely the comic relief of this movie, and I love him. He makes so many sounds. And it was a really interesting idea, I think, having a Muggle be part of the group. I don't think we really had ever had that before. And so it was cool because it was always like, shun the Muggles. And like the whole thing is about wanting to be the, I don't know, the greater race of, you know, wizards, not like in Voldemort, but like wizards over Muggles. That's what Grindelwald's whole thing is. And so you actually have a Muggle in the main group fighting against Grindelwald, which is kind of interesting. And so, of course, you have Grindelwald. And, you know, I'm going to talk about Grindelwald more in the next ones, but for this one, you have Percival Graves, played by Colin Farrell, and I thought he did a really great job. He was actually, I think, the best one so far, because I'm going to call him Grindelwald #1. And while I love Grindelwald #2, I thought Colin Farrell did a really great job, as he has been doing for all of his acting career. He was just so shady and so eerie, but he, like, plays this, you know, official wizard really well. I thought he was awesome, but then, of course, the reveal at the end, I was freaking out. It was funny because all these little Easter eggs that they put in with, like, the Deathly Hallows symbol and the little music touches and everything here and there, I thought was super cool. But when we get to the end and he's turning into somebody else and you're like, what the hell is this? And it's like, oh my god, it's Grindelwald, even though you may or may not have guessed that. I definitely did not guess who Grindelwald was going to be played by. It was funny because, like, he gets revealed and I was like, whoa. Is that Johnny Depp? Is he relevant again? So it was really funny when that was revealed. It's not so funny now. But lastly, in terms of the highs, in regards to that, I think they actually did that really well of blending these two very different plots together. Obviously, they wanted to introduce the Grindelwald-Dumbledore fighting, which was probably the second main subplot from Harry Potter in terms of other things that had happened besides what we were seeing in the main books. And, you know, this happened in the past. This was the second biggest war they'd ever had. And they wanted to introduce that, I think, with something fun and light to bring the audience into it, and being a very fun character and all these creatures and everything being used for the war, which is really cool. I think that's a really great idea. And I think they did a really great job of blending those two plots together, where it's mostly about finding the creatures, but if it was just about finding the creatures, that'd be fun for one movie. But, like, if you're going to do this whole thing, it's cool to have that, you know, leak into now he's part of this bigger thing. Okay, in terms of lows, just little things here and there. I think the editing and the VFX are two things that here and there were a little odd. Like, there's one part in the middle where when Tina comes up with the case and she brings it to the head Makusa lady, I can't remember what she's called, and it was edited really weirdly. Like, I think there was like a continuity error, and there was weird blocking in terms of, like, Tina, like, puts down the case, and then, like, she backs up, and then she goes back to the case, and then she backs up, and then, like, she knocks on the case. It was really weird. I don't know why they did it that way, but it definitely caused some editing issues. So only things here and there. And then again, only occasionally the VFX were, for the most part, they were pretty good. I know a lot of people think that they don't hold up, but I think they were fine. But there was, like, one thing at the end with, like, Graves when he's, like, doing, like, a lot of, like, lightning spells on Newt like this. And first of all, I think it was, like, it was just odd. He just kept being, like, the thing I found kind of weird was the lightning. I don't know if they just didn't have enough time or whatever, but it felt like it was a little messy. It could just be like, you know, lightning's going everywhere and that's what lightning does and it's sporadic, but I don't know. It looked a little weird to me. But the Obscurus VFX was amazing because just the way that they were able to make it look like it was moving, but not so fluidly. It's like rigid and, it like goes in and out. I thought that was amazing. The last thing that I would say is the low, and probably the biggest one, is the end scene when they try to wipe everyone's memory, all of the muggles and no-mages.
Sorry, we call them muggles.
Almost all of this scene is a continuity error / just does not work at all. It's a cool idea, but first of all, having the rain, the memory spell in the rain, it's not gonna touch everybody. Even people who are showering and stuff, that's great. But what about the people who are just sitting at the table inside their home? And then the wizards, I guess maybe if they're wearing a hat or something, it's gonna block. But how did they not get their memory wiped? Obviously, in Chamber of Secrets, we've seen that can happen. And then you're wiping their memory, but then you're fixing the city as you're doing that with magic. So what if somebody's memory gets wiped and then they see this? I don't know. I just thought it was weird. There's just some things in this movie that don't feel contrived, but feel like they happen. And you're not supposed to question why they happen, but they definitely happen. And it doesn't quite make sense. So overall, I love Fantastic Beasts. It is one of my favorite movies, and I think it's just a really welcome addition to the Harry Potter franchise. It's fun, it's light, it has those stakes, it will get darker later on, but this first one it's just really fun. It brought you back into the Wizarding world. It had a lot of cool Easter eggs, and then a lot of new stuff to get attached to and to be excited about going forward. This movie is really cool. I thought it was really fun, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm going to give Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them a 3.5 out of 4. Well, guys, let me know what you thought of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I'm going to be doing my Crimes of Grindelwald review next week, and then obviously the Secrets of Dumbledore. I have very different thoughts about Crimes of Grindelwald. Shout out to one of my best friends, Patricia, for giving me this shirt. It just says Newt Scamander, and it kind of looks Fantastic Beastsy. And she gave it to me, I think, for one of my birthdays, and I was waiting literally until this review to wear it for the first time. And as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and movies right in the middle. I'll see you guys later.